Hey everybody, I'm Bethany and I'm a casting producer for Unscripted TV.
Hey, I'm Danny, and I'm also a casting producer for Unscripted TV.
And we are excited to bring you our new podcast, Casting Stories Untold.
Woo woo!
Woo woo!
Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am good.
I
I'm
think
looking.
Go ahead. No, you go.
I was just saying, I'm looking over to my right, and I had I have a TV stand, and underneath it, it's kind of like an open space for shelves. It's
hmm
been empty for a very long time. I just did not know what to put in there. So my cousin who was just here is very much like a plant person. She loves plants, does all the things. So she is
I
like
envy those
she
people.
actually smuggled two plants from Florida or whatever. She's like, I brought these here in a Ziploc or whatever. And she's like, they are so easy to have live. So you just have to put them in water and you don't have to do anything, pretty much. Just change the water. So she set them up and now I have the two little.
Oh, that's so cute. First of all, I would kill them. I don't care how. I don't care. It's a cactus. It's a succulent. Also, is it like illegal to obviously into like different countries? I understand not bringing a foreign plant into like the US, but domestically, like Florida to California, really?
I don't know if it's illegal. It seemed like the way she was saying it was.
Can you imagine if it's like totally illegal and she's like all like
I know.
smuggling it
Well,
in?
she will be unnamed for that
Yeah,
in this
we,
moment. Then.
we will not
But
have
you're
her.
right. I literally, I tell I'm like, I cannot. I had a dog, like a German Shepherd, that I kept alive for 14 years. I just cannot, but I cannot keep a plant alive.
It's there's something about it.
And you kept a whole person alive.
I have for 19 years. I have killed every plant that I've owned. I've tried really, really hard. Like it's not just like, oh yeah, like I've purposely made an effort to do that, even like an aloe plant. And finally I just gave up and they're all fake.
So what's behind you? Or
A
is it?
fake plant, a fake plant.
I thought it was real.
Nope, nope.
Oh my
It
God.
gets dusted, it gets taught, it gets talked to, but it's fake.
Secrets revealed. I love that. All right, well, our guest this week, he has been on The Mole, season 1 on Netflix. He's been on both seasons of Perfect Match, and he does a lot of other things in his life. He is multi-faceted and multi-talented. And here is Dominic Gabriel. Hello.
Hi, Dom.
Hey,
How are you? I'm Bethany. It's nice to meet you officially.
nice to meet you. How you guys doing?
Good, you're
Good, good.
sideways.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Wh-
Danny, how are you?
I know. Good. It's been a long ass time.
I know.
Where are you in LA? Is this like a house in the Hollywood Hills?
No, no, I'm in Hollywood. It's an apartment.
Okay, LA.
Okay, we're in Hollywood. Where in
Yeah.
Hollywood are you?
Okay, okay.
No,
Well,
not definitely not in the hills. Definitely.
Okay.
wait, Dom, where in Hollywood are you? Like
I'm like
like neighborhoodish. I'm not trying to find your yeah, I'm not trying to get your exact location.
no, I'm like literally like right off of like Hollywood Boulevard, like right by like the theater, the Broadway theater.
Okay, copy. Just because I used to live on Beechwood, so I didn't know if you were like up like in that area. So we would
Yeah,
be
no,
kind of like neighbor-ish.
yeah, I don't. I'm not a fan of it.
Oh,
Uh,
why?
Hollywood?
It's just so like dirty and there's crime. And I got carjacked like right outside this building like almost 2 years ago now. So
We need to hear that story,
yeah.
please. Well, first of all, I'm very sorry that happened to you, but I mean, it's probably a
No,
good
it's
story.
it's a pretty funny story, actually.
What happened?
Well, I had just finished doing this podcast and I was like flirting with like the podcast host. And then so right after the podcast, I took this girl on a date. I was like hosting a podcast. And then she just so happened to live in this building. So I was like dropping her at the front door before I went to go park my car. And then like where the reception is, and then she starts screaming. She's like, Dom, and I'm like, what's everybody screaming at? And then I look to my left, and then the guy had like a gun to me, and he was like, get out the car, or I'll shoot. And I was like, oh shit. Luckily, it was a rental, so I was like, yeah, by all means. But listen, I always get the insurance, brother. By all means, this is yours. And I was like, "Do you mind if I get the stuff in the back seat? I want shot." He's like, "Shut the fuck up." I'm like, "My fault." But it was like a brand new BMW, so it was push to start, but the push was like inside the middle console, so he couldn't figure it out for like a good like 2, 3 minutes. So I was just standing there in the middle of the street while this guy is like trying to jack my car. And I'm like, you could, I told him, I'm like, you could still run. Like, I'm not going to say anything. Like, you could still just like leave and like try again another day. And he's told me to shut the fuck up again. And then he finally got it. He finally got it, but he didn't have the key fob. Like, the key fob fell out of the car. So I guess when he was driving off, my phone was still in the passenger seat, and I was using Find My iPhone. So I guess it went off. He threw my phone out the car,
Mm.
and at the speed he threw it out of, the police thought it was a car accident. So the police immediately went to where my phone was located, found my phone, and then right down the street he had like crashed into a Toyota dealership or something, or like a McDonald's or something like that, and took off and left his ID. And I was like, brother, that was possibly you should have just ran. Like you
I mean, honestly, I wonder if he tells his story as like the most embarrassing like crime he ever committed.
there's
Like he couldn't
absolutely
start the car. He got like
And like, does he even remember, or was he on a lot of substances?
I don't know, but I was like, you that just like literally looking back, I'm like, literally there was no loss for me because I was like, it was a rental car. I had the insurance. I got like a brand new car the next day. The only inconvenience for me was like I had clothes in the back seat that like I just went shopping.
But also, like, being held at gunpoint is like a huge inconvenience. Like, that's
Yeah,
terrifying.
yeah, but I'm like, I used to be a bouncer, so like I used to like you should know this, Danny.
I mean, I do. I don't know if I remember. I what I remember is the ice cream
Yes, the ice
order.
cream house. Yeah, and
so
on the
tell us
weekends I
about
was a bouncer.
What?
so what'd you say? Sorry.
Yeah, the ice cream house. But on the weekends I was bouncing and doing security.
Okay.
So
So tell us about your so okay, so first of all, tell us like I mean, I know everybody knows, but tell us like really quick recap, like who you are, what you do, the mole and perfect match, all that stuff.
so my name's Dom Gabriel. Everyone might know me from Netflix reality shows like The Mole, Perfect Match 1, Perfect Match 2. And yeah, I used to be a warehouse worker, and then somehow Danny was able to talk me into doing reality TV, and now I do reality TV and travel the world influencing and taking silly videos.
Nice. But and you're also a musician, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
A lot of people don't. Now it's turned into like, well, what show are you going to be on next? I'm like, well, my band has a new single. It's like, oh, that's fine. But like, who are you dating now? I'm like, okay, all right.
Well, we're going to ask you that too. Well, wait, so were you a musician? Were you doing music sort of before all this reality took hold, or like is this something what's the journey on that?
No, I've been in a band since before like 2019, 2018. I've been a part of the band. And then, yeah, that was always the main thing. And then, I just didn't, like, I'm sure, like, even Danny could probably tell, like, this was never like really in the cart. Like, this is just something that kind of happened during COVID. Like, it was literally like Danny just called me. Did you call me? I think maybe you emailed me or something. Something. I don't know. I can't remember. But I
Okay, okay,
remember
okay, okay. So did you apply, or I reached out to you? I don't remember that.
this is what happened. This is exactly what happened. One of my friends was going to the auditions in Toronto for Big Brother Canada. And I was like, I went with her and she was super shy. She was such a fan. And I waited with her in line. And then I wasn't gonna audition when we got there. And then one of the producers was like, oh, just like you should just try. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like just come in. So then I auditioned and then I got a call and then I got a call back or an email back. And I made it to like, I don't know, like the semifinals or the finals or something like that. But I didn't make it all the way. And that was like, I had a girlfriend at that point. So it was like probably like 2018. I was with
Okay,
my ex.
wait, but did you go to hotels? Did you interview in hotels?
For
Or
Big
was the
Brother?
semifinal when I zoomed you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you maybe just couldn't come the day of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I got to like in person anything.
Oh, okay.
But I remember I made it pretty far. But I was like, I was fine not getting it because I was like, ah, whatever. Like,
Okay, so funny you say this. I was actually telling Bethany this story. You because you said you had a girlfriend, but you did not tell us that you had a girlfriend. So we were like, "Oh, great! Like cute single man here." And then when I showed it to our boss, showed you to our boss, she did a little deep dive and was like, "I think this guy is dating someone." And it became this whole conversation, and we were all like, "Is he? Isn't he?" And I had to call you and be like, "Hey, Dom, you got a girlfriend or what's going on?"
So,
I remember that. Yeah.
so what's the
Yeah.
story?
But I remember I was working at the time and I thought to myself, I was like, oh, well, I can't get the time off anyways. And like, Kai, please, please, I'm begging you, dude.
I mean, this dog just wants to kiss you 24/7.
Oh,
I know, which I like, I'm fine with, but I'm like, ooh,
she's
come
in
on,
love. Okay, what about you?
bro,
Are you
bro.
dating? Let's talk about that for a second. Do you have any fun dating stories?
No, it's like, I was telling my friend about this. It's like genuinely hard to like date now. I feel like, especially because I had such I guess like a large impact on the dating shows I was on. Like, the first, when I got on Perfect Match, they edited me in a way that was like, put me on kind of like this pedestal of like, this perfect guy, emotionally intelligent, whatever, which is like great, but it's like, I do have flaws, you know what I mean? And I think in reality TV, it's way easier to be a villain or kind of hit the bottom and kind of like work your way up. Cause like when you're put on a pedestal, I was like this, I could do the smallest thing and it's all gonna like fall apart. So I became like very self-aware and like I was very cautious and I didn't want to like date anyone in case they like, took advantage or said anything. So that became super hard. Um, and then somehow Netflix talked me into doing the second season. And then I was cautious of that, but I just not even gonna lie, I just wanted like the payday. I just wanted like the money. I was like, okay, I can come in and then get out. And then somehow, and the editors of reality TV, phenomenal. I give them all the credit because I have no idea. I think I was only on 2 episodes. I have no idea how they worked in an entire like. I got like a huge villain edit. I got like my my thing was like, oh, I'm barely going to be on this season. You know what I mean? So I was like, I told them like I'm not even going to really promote it or anything like that. Like I'm barely on it. Somehow they were able to milk like 48 hours of me into like this whole thing. And I became like literally, there's like I remember a Reddit thread that was like, why Dom is the worst. And it was like the highest thread in like the Netflix Reddit forum. It was like just a whole thing. So like, I say all that to say like dating in the public eye has like become super difficult and everyone attaches me to like certain girls I've dated on the show that like I won with and anytime that person does like they just did a new show and then it gets brought up again and
Comes
then
up
it's like this
again.
whole cycle. So
I
it's very
do.
difficult.
Well, I want to follow up on that, but really quickly back to the villain edit and sort of like feeling like that's how you were perceived. Can you talk about that a little bit? Was it really because you went from being this on a pedestal, that's great, oh, he's the best guy, to like villain. So how did that affect you emotionally? Were you sort of like this sucks, or were you like, did it just bounce off you?
I think like the unfortunate thing about reality TV, like the talent to me is like I'm always like, you're gonna catch heat from you can't make everybody happy. So even when I was put on this pedestal, I was like, there are still people that hated me. I understand that, but the thing that sucks is like the cast that you're with. It's like I've always made a point like I'm never gonna slander any of my cast because we already go through enough when it comes to like the audience and public perception that I'm not gonna pile on or add to that. I don't know what you're going through. I only knew you for a few weeks we don't know each other like that really. Like, I don't know what's going on with your family. Something might be going on financially. Something I don't want to add on to that. So I think the thing that hurts me is when people do that to me or to other people. Like, I'm always like, why would you use the hate, knowing that like it's not real, knowing that like we filmed this a year ago. There's no animosity. Like, there's nothing. If there was animosity, you could have reached out to me. We all have each other's contact information. Like, you know where I'm at. And kind of using the public's perception to kind of like twist and like pull me down in order to bring yourself up. I find it like such a nasty part of reality when it's like I feel like if you shouldn't have to do that. You don't want to build your social persona, your social base off of like hate and negativity and like we
Right.
all go through.
Especially when you're like being vulnerable, you're opening up, you're like doing, being honest and sort of letting people in.
The good news is I feel like so many people watch these things. Most of the people who watch do not comment, do not post. You will never know their thoughts and feelings, but they're probably like great and loving it and have their own experiences. It's just a tiny, small, loud group of people who just kind of want to, like, I don't know what's going on with them, but they just want to like tear everyone down. And I'm sure to you, it probably feels like so many people, but it's like in the grand scheme of things, that's like the smallest minority of people watching this.
No, it really is. And I think it's hard to like I remember when the show came out, me and my friend Harry, we were just so down on ourselves because it felt like the entire world was just shitting on us. And then we just like for my birthday, we got invited to UFC to go to Vegas, and like it was our first time out of like the apartment, and just seeing how many people were like, "Oh my God, Dom!" And like people were showing us love. We're like, okay, and like real life is completely different than online. It's a different energy. It's a different aura. So that kind of showed me like it's like keyboard warriors. You know,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
they just want attention.
You're one of, I feel like it's not often people will have experienced a hero edit where it's like perfect and everyone is holding you to the standard. And you said there's like the problems that come with that. And then the villain edit, which the problems that come with that are obvious.
Yeah, and I think like and at the end of the day, it's like I get it. Like it's kind of like you want to build this like arc, like you don't want to get stale from an editing point of view. Like I feel like I've been around enough producers that I'm like, oh, I get the storytelling side of things. And I will say they're like being a villain is a lot easier when you're perceived that way. It's a lot easier to kind of like move around, I
Live your
guess.
life.
Like
Mhm.
it's not like you're walking on eggshells all the time, like scared that like because I felt like for so long it was like the like oh who's gonna bring Dom down kind of deal with like any
Mm.
show or any person that I talked to. Like it felt like me against the world. Whereas like when I was a villain, it was like kind of felt like freeing almost. You know what I mean? It was kind of like oh I could just kind of whatever. People hate me, fuck it. I can do this or I can
Yeah.
talk about this.
That's so interesting. And not to like, I don't want to get too political, but like, if you just look at politics, say anyone who tries to, do the right thing, be the good person, they will get picked and torn apart at any tiny little falter. And anyone who just leans into that villain, whatever persona, they can do anything and everything they want.
It's crazy. It's like even going into social media. It's like you see the amount of people that like have been like canceled or something. It's like they're like literally the biggest stars and influencers on the planet. And I think that's just like unfortunately, it's like that's just what drives people want negativity. People when someone's positive or they try to be uplifting, it's like people are like, okay, but where's the drama? Like it's like drama runs everything now. Drama and tea.
Now I feel bad asking you if you have any tea for us.
Not whatever,
Like
whatever you want to
maybe
know.
I'm the villain.
um, so you made it, so you did make it really far in Big Brother Canada. I think you would have almost been on that. I kind of don't remember what I think, because was it a did you lie about having a girlfriend, or did you omit the truth of that?
I don't think I ever because it wasn't a dating show, so I never like I don't think I just like never felt the need to be like, oh yeah, like
To be honest.
yeah. Well, I was just like I wasn't trying. It was like almost like it was like, oh, just like even with my girlfriend, she was like, oh, like just try and do it. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna like get on. Like I don't how am I gonna tell my workplace I have to take X amount of weeks off to like film Big Brother? Like it was it kind of just seemed like it was a joke. You know what I mean? Like we were just like seeing how far we can go with this until like inevitably I was like I probably would have just turned it down anyways, to be honest.
What? Why would you
What?
go through all of that work and annoying
I mean,
paperwork and all of that?
Because it just seemed like I don't know, it just seemed funny. Like it was like, oh, like Big Brother Canada. Like it just seemed like funny. No offense. But it was also like but my warehouse job was really good.
What was that? Can you remind? Yeah,
let's
talk
talk about
like
that job.
No, I was like a shipper and receiver for like a cold storage company. So like I had to wear like a freezer suit. I put ice cream on a piece of like wood for like 12 hours a day. But it was like it was a unionized job. I think at the time I was like, probably like I was probably like 23, 24. I was making like over $30 an hour union. I had amazing dental benefits, all kinds of like vacation. Like it was a job that to this day, if I had it, I'd be fine in life. You know what I mean? It was like I could have had that job for the rest of my life. I could have been fine. So I was like, it was almost like if I don't win Big Brother, I would end up losing my job and losing money. Like it just didn't,
Didn't make
you
sense.
know?
Did you have that same mindset then when you went into the mole? Were you sort of like, well, I can, or were you really committed to that and you like just happened to get cast on that?
No, because the mole was during COVID, so I got laid off. So it was like just divine timing. It was like, well, I got laid off of work. It was during COVID. I'm literally like, I remember I was like, when I got the call or the email from Danny, I was like in a parking lot, just in my car, like, fuck, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like literally, I'm trapped in Ontario. I can't move anywhere. Like it's locked down. I just got laid off. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And then he called and said that he had a Netflix show. Go to Australia, email this person, and I was like, why not? You know?
what a nice succinct way of saying that there was so many steps and like I feel like especially for that show almost more than any we harassed the living life out of the people that we put
Yeah.
on that show.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if people know how much it takes it to go into getting on a show. I mean, all the like paper, like psych and medical and background and social media and fingerprinting, background check, all the check, like all the checks in, but like how it's so much harder to get on a reality show than it is to be like president of the United States. Speaking of all this,
Yeah.
like it's crazy, you know?
No, it was like I think also the benefit too was like because it was COVID, it was like you just literally had nothing to do. So it kind of like, especially that time, I was like, well, I was like, I'm gonna knock out this paperwork like that. Like I'm pretty sure from the time I got asked to do it, it was probably like a month or two before I actually like flew out to Australia. It was pretty quick.
That is quick actually. Um And wait, talk about because I still haven't talked to you about this. I know. So Australia had like it was like they were very, very strict about COVID. And I think they had to put you in a hotel with like the National Guard guarding your door for what, 2 weeks? What was that experience like?
It was literally like the first, like we had a military escort from the airport to the hotel. It was like you didn't see anybody at all. Once a day, somebody would come in a full hazmat suit, stick a giant Q-tip up your nose, and then just like bounce. They'd ring your doorbell. You had to wait 10 minutes before you got your food. It was like the most serious lockdown I've ever witnessed in my entire life. And then you couldn't talk to family because it's like opposite hours of the day, so it was like really hard to like catch up with people or talk to people. It was fun for the first like 6 days. For the first 6 days, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna lock in. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna do 1,000 sit-ups every night, whatever. And then
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'll watch TV. I like read books. You're like,
yeah, and then I remember it was like
now it's all
day
about the
eight.
gym.
It was like day 8 or day 9. I was like, I'm literally going crazy. You also couldn't wash your clothes. Like you had to like hand wash it in like the in like the tub. So it was like it just became a point where like I just like was wearing like an oversized tee with boxers all the time. Like I was like wearing the same thing, not shaving. I was like, this is. I remember like when we before we got before we started filming, we had a day outside. I was like, I'm gonna get a haircut. I'm gonna get a facial. Like I'm like, I need to feel like a human again.
That must have
How
been
long were you on lockdown? How long were you sequestered? Do you remember?
It was 2 weeks exactly, like exactly 14 days. It was insane.
and that had nothing to do with production or the show. That was literally the
Yeah,
country of Australia.
but we even had we had another lockdown during filming. Like we had like Queensland went into lockdown, so like we didn't film for a week and we went right back to that. And I remember I was like, oh my God, dude. Like you can tell if like they took so much stuff out of the show because everybody was so tense all the time because you just never knew. Like it was like the game just didn't stop, and then like we couldn't talk to each other. We get put on lockdown for like a week. We're like, what the fuck just happened? Like right after the first elimination, it was like a week lockdown, and we were like, what the hell?
That's definitely an added stress, and I don't think that made it into the show. I was been a while since I watched. I don't think it made it into the show, but I think also like a lot of shows and a lot of just like scripted shows, and everything just didn't want to include COVID stuff because we were all just at nauseum with it. It was like we don't
Yeah,
want to keep saying this. Yeah.
no, yeah. But it was interesting how much like it kind of maybe it benefited the show in terms of emotional depth because I remember when like someone got eliminated like the second or third week and people were like crying. And on the show it seems like it's been like 2 days. So you're kind of watching, you're like, why is everybody so emotional over like these people leaving? And it's like, well, because like we literally were in lockdown for like 2 weeks with each other. So like we got to like bond a little bit more and like we weren't really game playing. So it's like when people got eliminated, it started to hit. Like when I got eliminated, everybody was like in tears, like crying.
They were like devastated. I remember that.
And then I remember like they tried to bring me back the next episode, and the producers were freaking out
Why?
Wait, why were they freaking out?
because they thought because I guess I guess they really wanted me back in the game just as a personality. And so I remember when I first got eliminated, they like hid me away in some like remote cabin with this producer. His name was Chad for like 3 or 4 days. I had no idea what was going on. We were like going to the casino, we were hanging out, and I was like, dude, when can I just go back like to Queensland, like or like somewhere? Like I just want to like chill and like talk to Australian girls and stuff. And he was like, "Don't worry, we're gonna get there." I'm like, "Okay." And then randomly driving to this desert, they're like, "Yeah, Dom, you're gonna get back into the game. You get back into the game." And then they offered me back with like $10,000 to the pot. And I guess like I think there was a little bit of animosity between the cast of like I think people kind of knew or people thought I was like so I don't know like the
Like
producer's baby. Like I was kind of like the
special treatment or
favorite.
something?
Like
Yeah.
I was getting special treatment because I got to come back. So I think they were like a little hurt by that. I remember when I was getting eliminated, even like they wouldn't talk to me on the thing. So I was like, all right, like I have to talk for like production's sake. So I just started telling them childhood stories of like my first kiss and stuff like that. And like I was just like I was always unserious. Like I was just always just like wanting to have a good time. And then yeah, and then the producer started freaking out because they wouldn't let me back in the show. And then I remember when I got eliminated the second time, this woman Molly, she was like, "Don't you worry, like you're gonna be back." And I was like, "Listen, I'm as long as I'm getting paid, like I don't really, it's fine. Like as long as I'm getting that 10,000, I can go back. Like I'll be, it's okay."
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, and then that's when she was talking about perfect match,
What did you like better, Perfect Match or The Mole?
the mole,
Mm, why?
because I like adventure shows. I like I felt like the mole wasn't built on like negativity. You know what I mean? It was just like gameplay. It was like at the end of the day, like we were all cool. Like we understood it was a game. We were all having fun. We got to like go to a new country, experience new things. Where I feel like dating shows, like I'm not gonna lie, like at the end of the day, it's like you can't be too upset because I'm getting like paid to like drink and flirt with girls. But so much of it is built off of like nothing works unless there's drama. Like there's not really drama in the mall. Like Love on the Spectrum. which is
Mm.
such a good example of like you can have a dating show and you can show people like having genuine connections without any sort of negativity. Like you can like it works, like it's possible. But I feel like dating shows have just slowly turned into like who can get the most screen time, who's going to be the couple, how can we turn this into like branding afterwards? Like it just becomes this whole thing, which like I'm just not a fan of.
Do you
So
think
the
that's true for all reality shows, though, that it sort of turned into sort of like platform building versus like the actual experience of being on a show?
I think yeah, I think eventually it will go back to, you know, I think eventually it'll go back to not being about building a platform because I feel like, especially now, I feel like it's so hard. It's such a saturated industry. Like I don't even like I can't even keep up with the Netflix shows. Like when I meet somebody like, yo, what's going on, man? I was just on Ultimatum season 4. I'm like, brother, I'm like, someone was like, two out, yo, I'm on two out the handle season 8. I'm like, there's 8? You know, it's like, so I feel like it's eventually it's gonna have to go back to like, yo, you're gonna have to like actually just do it for the love of the show. Like, I don't feel like it's so hard to like build a foundation. Like, I'm like, I can't, even looking back at the mole, I'm like, unfortunately, I can't think of any castings that were able to like turn that into something monetizable,
Oh,
which is so good.
really? I mean, yeah, I've worked on a show for another streaming network, and they were all excited to yeah, like get their followers and do their things. And I think they got one of the like they got like 100 followers or something. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Like the
hard.
mole, I think I only got like 10,000 followers off the mole.
Wow, how did you build like based on nearly a million follower page?
I think it's because like because I'm a blue collar worker. That's what I always put it down to. Like everything I do, I always attribute it to like you got to clock in and you have to treat it like a job. So like once I got laid off of that, I was like, once I got laid off of the warehouse, and I remember filming the mole, and then I was gonna do Perfect Match, and I had the interview with Netflix, and I spoke to this woman. She's like my favorite person on Netflix. Her name's Ariel. And I was like, all right, did the show, same thing. I'm like super excited for the followers. Like, what should I do in the meantime? Like, what's good? And she's like, it's gonna take like a year. And I was like, oh, it's gonna take a year? I was like, so what do I do for the year that I'm like a nobody? Like, and she said, work on your socials, like make sure that like when the shows come out, you already have like a fan base because I was going on the perfect match without the mole being out. Like I was literally a nobody going on that show. Like I was like my shows weren't out yet. So it's like when I'm going on that show, it's like everybody else on that show already had multiple shows out and we're already like big names. And everyone I walked in there and everyone was like, who are you? Like
I did
like
not know that.
no, like I going on a perfect match, I thought I was gonna get eliminated the first day. Like every producer thought I was gonna get eliminated. They didn't know who I was. I didn't know who anyone else was. I never watched any reality show. I never watched Two at the Handle. I never watched The Circle. I didn't know who anyone was. I remember asking Molly, I was like, okay, so no matter how long I'm on the show, I get X amount. She's like, yeah. I'm like, cool. So I walked into the house. I'm like, I'm just gonna get drunk. No one's gonna pick me. I'm gonna head back to the hotel and I'm gonna get lit in Panama off this money. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna just have a good time. And I remember it was like the last 5 minutes of like the first day I was filming, and they were like, "Go talk to this person or whatever. Like you talk to everyone, whatever. You go talk to this person." I was like, "Okay." So this person like calls me over. I'm talking to them, and then they ask me to match, and then I was like, "Okay," and then that was it. And even there's like a point like the fifth episode where like things end between me and that other person, and I'm like packing up my stuff. I'm like, I'm all right, time to go home. And then somebody else was like, "You want to match with me?" I'm like, "Fuck!" I'm like, God. I'm like,
But wait,
Okay.
and by the way, I didn't watch, so I'm just kind of watching it now, and like that little breakdown you had was so sad. Like I feel like you were really hurt.
yeah, I think a lot of people attribute it to like I got a lot of like people like were like, oh, like men crying, like what a simp or whatever like that. But I'm like, I think people just didn't understand the magnitude of like being being televised and like having cameras on you and kind of like that feeling of just like humiliation. You know what I mean? Of like, you know that people are gonna see you like that walk back by yourself is just like so embarrassing. I feel like anybody that does those shows when like an elimination happens or any moment where it's like you feel like your time is like up, how emotional it hits. Like whether it's like a competition show when you get eliminated, like the mole, or a dating show is like a dating show essentially if you're single, it just means like, oh, like no one likes you. You know, no, if you have no partner in a dating show, it just it's like no one likes you. So it's like, damn, like you walk out by yourself, you're like, damn, like I really feel like worthless, you know? Like it sucks. I feel like anybody on reality TV, like I'm not the first person to cry, but I just feel like I was the first person to kind of like vocalize that sort of like feeling of like I don't feel worthy right now. Like I just don't feel good. So
How did you sort of like, not get over that, but yeah, like get over that? How did you get beyond it?
I just got drunk that night. I just I got really drunk that night. I got really drunk. I'm sure like if on the cutting room floor there's footage there of just like me just saying the funniest, most outlandish things. Like I had no filter that night. I was so drunk. But I mean, in the bigger scale, I think very quickly on Perfect Match on that show, you kind of learn just how unserious things are. Like I was the only person who kind of woke up at like 5, 6 a.m. And it's like, you know, I'd wake up extra early and I'd just like work out, sit by the pool, and then you kind of like realize you're like, this isn't like it is real, but it's like this is like you know what I mean? Like it's not. It's like
Yeah,
it's
not real
so.
life.
How can I? It's like I've been in a 4 year long relationship. Like that when I that break like that was real. That was like that changed my life. That was like a dip. This I don't know you people. You know what I mean? Like so I think it was very easy for me once I put it in perspective of like real life of like if this was real life, it doesn't. It's like you live in a whole different dimension. It's so weird, but I think I figured that out pretty quickly, and it helped me kind of adjust moving forward in every show and every interview and all the press was like, just treat it like a blue collar job. Just treat it like follow your contracts. Remember that like, you know, this isn't the end all be all. Um, and there's just more to all of this, which I think kind of benefited me in terms of like my social media growth was just like I just never took myself serious. I think people just resonated with that. Like no matter I always stayed out of beef. I never took myself serious. I'd make comedy skits. I'd dress up like characters. I'd dress up like Taylor Swift and stuff. It's like I feel like everyone's like Dom is just like relatable. He's just cool. Like he's just living life, you know?
I kind of want to talk like because when you were talking about the crying, people called you a simp, but you also are like I don't know, like you do like nails and kind of you dress up like women and do all that kind of fun stuff. Is that something that you're just like I don't give a shit about? Like I'm gonna embrace my masculine side, some of my like what are your thoughts and feelings on that type of stuff?
I just like I don't know. I think I just don't care. I'm just like I've always grown up just like not caring, and I'm like just never realizing like why like I don't care, and it's like why do you care? Like you know what I mean? And like I've always felt that way. So and like I'm very stubborn about stuff. So it's like when I started painting my nails and people would bully me for it, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna keep on doing it. And it's like it's weird that you care that I'm doing it. Like like I've always been so logical growing up. I'm like, you're mad at me for paint like don't look at them, I guess. You know what I mean? Like it's such a simple solution all the time. So I think for me it was like a part of me is like, yes, like I'm embracing my masculinity and my feminine, but another part of me is like those two things don't really even exist to me. It's just like whatever I want to like it's fabric, it's whatever I want to wear, it's polished, it doesn't change who I am as a person. Like it's like I don't know. I just like my mom just raised me in a way that like you don't have to look at things black and white or this and that. It's like just be whoever you want to be. And if people don't fuck with who you want to be, it's like, well, then look away. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I'm going to keep on. I'm not going to change what I'm doing because you don't like, I don't know you.
Very Canadian of you, I feel.
Very
Yeah, there is. I think there is a big dominant American um, population when it comes to the casting in these shows. I feel like whenever I see another Canadian, I'm always like, you this is a little bit much, right? They're like, yeah, it's a little bit much. I'm like, yeah.
us Americans are a little much for you.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes you guys
Yeah,
are
I agree.
very, very aggressive.
And I also feel like Canadians, I mean, obviously we're painting a huge broad brush on people, but they're
Yeah.
just from the shows we've done many, Big Brother Canada, obviously, but like they're just like I mean, obviously they have they're kind and they're nice people, but I more mean like they're open, right? Like just like fluid and like open and like there's not they're not don't have like the hangups and they're not so rigid in their binaries.
Yeah, and I also feel like just Canada as a whole really is so liberal and like left. It's like, I feel like I'm always like I feel like our conservative is like more left than American liberal. Like it's so old. Like even this past election, unfortunately, I couldn't vote because I was like traveling, and everyone was like, "You're not voting." I'm like, I'm gonna be completely honest. We'll be okay. Like, the Conservative Party didn't even win in his own province. Like, so it's like it was just overwhelmingly liberal. So I think that's just Canada as a whole. Like, we're just all so um forgiving, and we're just so open of like other cultures and how other people live, and everyone's just so kind and nice for the most part.
You really are. I was just telling friends the other day. First of all, I love Canadians. I'm sure Bethany, I
Same,
think, does
same,
too.
same.
Yeah. Um, and for shows like when we cast Big Brother US and we would travel, we went like Noah's Ark. We went by twos
Yeah,
because you'd have to go out to the bars and people would not be really nice or be like, "What? Why are you talking to me?" or whatever. And then when we had to travel for Canada, they're like, okay, so you're gonna be going alone, and I was like, alone? Like I have to go out to bars and talk to people alone? And everyone was like, oh my god, they're Canadians. It's gonna be so fine. And I was like,
yeah,
terrified, so scared. And I went out, and they were right. I literally walked into one bar, talked to one person. By the end of the night, like I had the manager set up a whole area for me and like open tab, and then just like had a lot like people just coming up. It was like, oh my god,
yeah.
these are
Yeah.
the nicest people ever. Yeah.
I had a question for you guys.
Ask.
Yeah.
How do you guys like? What are the things you look for when like you're casting? Because I'm always like I've always wondered like when for like even for myself like I always approach it like I never wanted a giant platform. Like I was always like, dude, if I go on the mall, I'm like, I want to win. It was never about anything like the
Right.
platform or anything. Like I just want to win. And I've always felt like I'm not really like the biggest personality. Like even rewatching Perfect Match, I was like, I probably have the most screen time to like least amount of words spoken
Like
in
the ratio. Yeah.
like Netflix. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah, I
watching,
do.
I'm like, there's like a scene where like two girls are fighting over me, and I'm just like in a corner, like drinking wine and eating cookies, singing to myself. I'm like, I'm so not that.
I will say, and obviously Danny can have his say, but for me, I think a lot of it is not just like, are you a big personality? That's not, I don't think what it's about. And certainly not, do you have a social media platform? That is like not, sometimes that's like actually not a good thing. But like a huge following or that you're like a content creator, like that's your thing. Like that's not necessarily what they want. Real people, people who um are sort of identifiable, like almost like right away I kind of know like who you are, right? I kind of get who you're going to be. I kind of get what's important to you. I kind of get, and I think, I mean, so many things like charisma, that doesn't mean you're the loudest one in the room, right? You said you draw people to you. That's a very different kind of charisma. And the last thing I'll say is I think it's important to be a person who allows other people to come on their journey, right? So you're like open, you're vulnerable, you're willing to talk about the process, what you're going through, your feelings, your emotions. So because people want to like they go on the journey with you, and you have to be able to narrate that journey or like at least let them be joined in with you.
That was a perfect answer. The only thing I would even have anything to add to that is I think it's people who are just kind of fully themselves 24 hours a day. Like they're not going to be kind of, they're not going to put on. Anyone who kind of puts on, it's very obvious to, especially to people like us who like talk to people, these people all day long. But it's a lot of times, and I'm not like knocking influencers or whatever, but a lot of times those types of people who make these what used to be Vines and now it's TikToks or YouTubes, they can kind of put on this thing for a little bit. And then, but then when they're sitting down with us and we're like trying to get them out of it, it's kind of like they don't know what to do. So it's just someone who is themselves in any room, in any situation that they're in is kind of a huge part of it. And being funny helps.
Right. And being able to tell a story, like beginning, middle, and end. Like like I mentioned about narrating, like sometimes, you're going to be the person in the diary room or in the on the, whatever it's called, giving your interview on the side, and you have to be able to tell what's happening on the show.
Are you happy that you did this, that you went on this journey and went on these shows and now this is your life? Or is there a part of you that's like, God, I kind of want to, wish I could be like back in Canada doing my little thing and being all in my little world, private?
You want to hear the most heartbreaking story, real quick?
Oh, yeah.
I right before Perfect Match was about to come out, and after The Mole came out, my friends tricked me, and it was like their kid's birthday party, and they invited me, and they didn't tell me that they also invited my ex of like 4 years because we all used to be we're all best friends. Like we all used to like for 4 years, like we would double date or whatever like that. Like we were all really close. And I'm close with the guy. She's best friends with his fiance at the time. And I get to the party and then she walks in and like I went pale. Like I started like shaking. Like I haven't seen her since before I went to go film The Mole. Like we broke up right before The Mole. And I remember she was into all these reality shows. Like she watched all of them, and I remember telling her like, "Yeah, I might do this like reality show," and she was like, "Good luck." Like I don't know. I remember her telling me like she was like, "Just be careful." Like I don't know. Like they cast a lot of people, and like the chances are slim or whatever like that. I remember she walked in. I was so scared. She walked in, most nervous I ever felt. Any show I've ever done. So nervous. Um, and she walks over to me and she goes, "Hey, how you doing? Like, how's everything?" And I'm like, nothing." And she's like, "Okay, Mr. Netflix. Like, my parents watched The Mole and they loved you on it. Like, her parents love Survivor. Like, that's just so they love watching The Mole and they saw me and we're catching up. Like, how's everything?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm like traveling around now. I'm like doing all this stuff and we're on the balcony and like we're sharing a cigarette again and like um." It almost felt like we were like in the past 2 years, like we mended, like we both healed, like we were both kind of like, I'm happy because I'm not in the warehouse right now. I'm kind of like achieving these goals, and I won this dating show. Like I'm kind of like I'm becoming somebody, after everything I went through. Like when we were together, like I went through a lot of shit, and then she also healed. So it kind of felt like, you know what I mean? Like, damn, like I feel like we're gonna get back together and everything's gonna be okay finally. Like everything worked out. And then I remember saying, like, thinking to myself, I was like, her parents watched The Mole. Perfect Match is going to come out in like 2 months. Like it was like December, and I was like, fuck, like it's just going to drop in February. And I was drinking. I was like, fuck, I should just tell her. I should just tell her I did this dating show. So she's like, "Oh, what else have you been doing?" I was like, "Well, I did a dating show. I got asked to do this dating show." And she was like, "Oh," and I saw her face just like change. And then she goes, "Well, did you find love?" Like joking, like kind of being like he's gonna say no, and I was like no, but like I won. She's like, "You won," and I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Did you tell her that you loved her?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "On TV?" Yeah. And I'm like, "Yeah," and her face just like dropped, and I was like, and that's when like I just knew it was over. And I was like, I fucked this up. Like I feel like I fucked this up, you know? And that's like every time I think about that, my day is like ruined. Every time I think about that moment, I'm like, if I was like, I could have just did the mole and I would have been fine. And I think back at like Perfect Match and like how like I haven't been able to date and like I had this perfect woman. Like I had her, and I it feels as though I threw it all away for like for what, you know?
Is that door completely shut forever?
Yeah, I think that was like the nail in the coffin, you know. I think it was like, you know, and then especially when once the show came out and how big it got and like the drama afterwards and like, you know, on the show, like I'm kissing and I'm hooking up and I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like I can only imagine like her not watching. She probably couldn't even avoid that at the time, you know. She probably had to stay off her phone and it's like I think of it from my point of view, if I saw my ex, you know, on television telling someone else they loved them and kissing them and like everyone voting them the best couple ever, like maybe if I lost the show, maybe if I lost the show, then yeah, but it's like damn, like I won it by a landslide.
Right. Yeah. Well,
So
I
I
mean,
think I look back at that a lot where I'm like it's kind of like give and take. It's like I get to do all this cool, amazing stuff, but it's like in the back of my mind, I'm always like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna have that life again. That sort of like simple, go to the warehouse, come home to the woman I love, start a family, like, and then it's like, you know, the like I remember like one day, like we still follow each other, and like I had to like mute it because I saw her like with another guy on Christmas, and I was like, if I keep on looking and I see a ring, I will crash out. Like,
well, since there is no ring yet, I don't know if that door is closed. I wonder what would happen if you did just like reach out to her. It's been some years. That's the thing.
yeah, I think it's so maybe there is. I highly doubt it. I just think it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with like though, like after a while, this won't be as top of mind as it is now and then and all of that.
Well, maybe she'll hear this podcast and she'll reach out.
What about though? And we don't have any say in this. Like, we're not like saying this to like maybe, but what about like traders?
I would love to do traders. I would love to like I think in a reality aspect, getting back to like the competition
Yeah.
roots of how I started would be like such a nice palate cleanser. I'd be like, oh, it would be so much fun to get back into like just gameplay, competing, using my brain as opposed to just getting drunk every night and kissing girls.
I could see you on traders looking all dressed up and spiffy.
In the Scottish plaid in a kilt.
Oh, don't say that to
I
me.
could. I'm sure you have.
I
You have
got kilts
fun.
in the closet. I got kilts and skirts in the closet. They're ready to come out at any point.
I was literally going to say, I'm sure you have a couple kilts.
He is
Yo,
ready.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
What about other stuff? Like, obviously, show wise, but like, you said music and what other things are you interested in and, have coming up?
Um, I've really I think this past like few months I really kind of like it was a wild summer when Perfect Match Season 2 came out and I was doing a lot of traveling. I was like I'm just gonna say yes to everything. Like now I'm kind of like shifting like all right, now let's get back to like who I was before this all stuff. Like just getting back to just being in the studio with my best friends making music. Get back to like doing the things I love. Like I love playing video games. I love anime. I want to voice over anime stuff. I want to like get involved in the things that I truly have passion in. It's like I love all these other things I'm doing, but the things I love is like anime. I want to voice over anime. I love drawing. I want to get back to drawing. I love music. I want to get back into making music. I love acting. I want to like start auditioning and putting out self tape.
it's so funny you say acting because I was watching your music video when you're like on those train tracks, which I was like, I hope this is like an abandoned train track. Um, but I was like, oh, he's like a really good actor. I felt like you were really like giving it. I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah, I think it's something I've always wanted to do, but I just never thought I had a chance.
It feels like there's exciting things on the horizon. Um, I feel like we gotta let you go.
We so appreciate you coming on with us today. Like we love talking to you and finding out these things that we didn't know beforehand. So thank you for sharing them. And again, I know I keep talking about how vulnerable you are, but I think that's, a really good thing with you. You're really connected and vulnerable with people. So thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys for having me, and thank you to Danny for 2 years after auditioning me, remembering me and giving me another opportunity.
Of course, yeah, yeah, you were great. And I'm so excited to see like what's in store, what's to come.
Thank
I
you.
agree. Yeah.
I'm so glad he did that.
It was really cool of him to hop on with us. And I mean, he's a busy guy.
I know. A
He's doing
million.
a lot of things.
Yeah. I feel like my biggest takeaway from that, besides just like his whole experience, was like my personal almost lesson from it was like he is basically saying he treats everything he does in his life as a blue collar worker. Like you punch in, you punch out, and you put in the work. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that was
Yeah,
so
you do the work. Yeah. And I think my biggest takeaway was, I mean, he talked about how, when he's getting into his future stuff, he'll have more control over his own life and how when you're on a show, you really, you're only gonna they can only use what you give them, but certainly you can't control how like you're edited, how you come out or what it ends up being. You might even forget what you've said, but that how he said it's really important to sort of take ownership of your own behavior and actions and like story and how you're being, because that's what they're gonna use.
and so funny how he kind of just fell into it. Just kind of went with a friend and was just very casual
I
about the
know.
thing.
How funny. I wonder if he went with if he had gotten on that season, like what that friend would have like thought or done or been. Do you ever see Fame? The movie Fame?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's been a minute. Why? What
Just
happened?
Leroy, who's like one of the main characters. He like comes to the audition with a friend. It's like her idea, it's her thing. She's a dancer, and he just like comes with, and then they love him, and they're like to her, they're like, see ya, and she's like, obviously like devastated. It's kind of funny.
I feel like
Um,
there's idol stories like that too.
mhm.
Like I feel like there's oh, actually it happened to one of my very good friends, Danielle. She's like besties with Adam Lambert, and they went to the idol auditions together.
For her.
No, actually not for her, sorry, for both of them.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
I mean, that's still tricky, but like imagine going like literally having no desire, interest, or to go and be there. You're
yeah.
just like, do, I'll just hop along.
I wonder also if he was on Big Brother Canada, how it would be so different. He probably wouldn't be on these Netflix things.
He wouldn't be on Mole. He wouldn't have got, he wouldn't be on. Yeah. It is so interesting.
And I just love his I'm gonna paint my nails, I'm gonna wear what I want to wear, and I don't give a damn.
I agree. It is inspiring. It is something to aspire to. And you were so right when you said it's so Canadian. It really is, which I know we love our Canada
Love, love,
neighbors.
love, love. Oh my God. Well, that was super awesome. And
It was, yeah. I'm excited for him, for the things coming up for him. I think he's kind of closing one chapter and opening another door. I don't know, that's not a very, is that a good metaphor? You don't close a chapter and open a door, but you know what I'm saying.
yeah. Is he closing a window and opening a door?
Maybe, or maybe he's opening one door and
Closing
opening
one door and opening another?
he's opening one chapter and beginning a new one.
Well, here's to new chapters. Until our next chapter.
So our next chapter.
We'll talk to you next time.